And we're live, baby. We're live. We're back, and we are ready. Welcome back to the two-man front featuring BZ Sports. I am Brian Madru. We got who we got here today.
You got the Fog, Steve Fogman from Objectively Biased Sports.
We are back and ready to go. We're excited for a new season of NFL football coming this Thursday. College football has already started. We're going to talk a little bit about Week 1 in a new segment we call Three and Out that I'm going to introduce. And look, don't forget, as you're watching, we like the engagement. We want you guys to engage as much as possible. Leave your comments below. We will engage back. We love when you guys chime in into the conversation. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to BZ Sports. Don't forget to subscribe to Objectively Biased Sports on Facebook, both on Facebook. Give us a listen. We're going to give you all the good stuff when it comes to all the sports, particularly football, NFL, and college football. So today we got NFL awards and predictions. We're going to be talking about who we think are going to win MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year. We got some interesting picks, so we're excited about that. And of course, obviously, because the whole world's doing it too, we got to include our Super Bowl picks, obviously, right? Super Bowl picks are coming as well. And like I said, we're going to be talking about Week 1 college football review and a little segment I call Three and Out. We're going to talk about the three biggest storylines that we already know number one is, so we can just kind of get that out the way. Three biggest storylines that happened this past week in college football. Really excited about that, especially because I will be going to that Colorado game. I am going to be going to the Mecca of college football this weekend, so I'm excited. I know. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm jacked. I am super excited, but we'll talk about that a little later. But man, Coach Prime and those boys, it's a different culture down there in Boulder, Colorado. So I'm excited. I am super, super excited about that. Let's go ahead and get started, man. Let's go ahead and get our awards, our NFL awards out of the way. You know, Fog has his MVP. He picked his guys. I picked my guys. Fog, as the elder statesman of the show, I'm gonna let you go first. Who is your NFL MVP?
He's going to get it for the second time. It's going to be Lamar Jackson. That is going to be my MVP. And the reason he's going to be my MVP is because you got a healthy Rashad Bateman. You've got the Swiss Army knife in Duvernay. You've got a guy in Zay Flowers who can take the roof off of a defense. And the only question mark I'm going to have on this is J.K. Dobbins staying healthy. You got Mark Andrews there. This offense, I think, is set for Lamar to have success. He got paid. I truly believe, look, the Ravens' defense wasn't bad last year. I don't think people are saying, oh, it might get worse. No, I think that Ravens defense is going to be just as good, if not better. You got to remember, the Ravens were in the majority of their games going into the fourth quarter.
Every touchdown.
They just got gassed in the fourth quarters of games because the offense wasn't performing. Well, guess what? There's no Greg Roman. There's no Greg Roman. He is the greatest offensive coordinator with a ceiling that's like right here, right there. You can't get over it.
It's terrible.
So I think with a new offense, I think the addition of Odell, and we're not talking. Look, you know I'm not a big fan of Odell, but Odell Beckham Jr. is not that bad of an addition, and he's not going to have to be the number one or number two guy on that team as a receiver. Shit, he might not be the number three guy if you include Mark Andrews at the tight end position. So I think that this offense is going to look, I know this offense is going to look much different, and I think that is going to catch teams off guard, and we're going to see a different Lamar Jackson. And for that reason, I got Lamar winning the MVP because I think the Ravens are going to be something to deal with.
I'm honestly I'm not even mad at that because Lamar it kind of sets up for him, right? It's set up for him to win it because of this new offense, his new toys around him, everything he's doing. Apparently he looks good at camp. There hasn't been any mixed reviews. So it sets up for him, right? It's setting up for him to win the MVP, right? It makes sense. So that's your pick. And I honestly, it's funny you chose him, and I'll explain a little bit later why. But honestly, dude, like I'm going Patrick Mahomes. like until Patrick Mahomes, and look, until somebody pries that trophy out of his hands, I don't know how you can give it to him. Because look, it's kind of set up for him as well. Because look, he lost his offensive coordinator. Travis Kelce, I think he's going to be back, but we don't really know exactly the extent of the injury. They say the ACL's intact, but I think he's going to be out for game 1. But man, like until somebody can show me that there's a better player and a more important player to their team than Patrick Mahomes has been the last 5 years of his life, I don't care. I don't think you could give it to anybody else. I mean, and it's set up for him as well because he's going to prove that like it's him. Like I think most people know it's him, but now that Eric Bieniemy has gone away to Washington, right? We'll see what Mahomes looks like when he's kind of, I guess, running the show with Andy Reid now, right? So we'll see what happens. I don't know who's the coordinator for the Chiefs now. I don't even know who it is. I'm not even sure who it is. Like, and that's my point. That's another point right there. We don't know who the coordinator is. I just know they have the best football player. Well, not. I'm gonna say that the best quarterback in the game, and Patrick Mahomes. I don't know how he can't win it, especially with things are setting up for him now. I'm going him. I'm going Mahomes.
Doesn't he have? Isn't Matt Nagy back down there?
It might be Nagy. It is Matt Nagy.
It is Matt Nagy.
It is Matt Nagy. Somebody said it's funny how Eric Bieniemy going away is going to benefit everyone except Eric Bieniemy.
Listen, I don't think the Chiefs are
That's what everyone said last year when they lost Tyreek Hill and they went 13-3 and won a Super Bowl. Look, everyone's saying last year. I don't think the Chiefs can do it. I'm not sure.
No, I'm
not sure.
I still think the Chiefs are going to be the team to beat in the AFC. They got the bullseye on their back, but at some point there's going to be a fall off.
Yes. At some point, there's always a fall off of the kingdom. But right now, I don't see any evidence. If that makes sense, there's no evidence that there's going to be a fall off. I don't see it. So that's just it. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Offensive Player of the Year. Fogg, who you got winning Offensive Player of the Year? Man.
So I hate doing this. Because I like giving it to position players, man. I like giving it to position players, skill position players. But I just got a funny feeling about Justin Fields and what he's going to be able to do with the weapons that he's got, that we might see a quarterback win Offensive Player of the Year, because they're not going to give him the MVP because the Bears are probably going to win 7 games at best. But I think he is going to put up numbers running and passing. No, I don't believe in Garrett Wilson. Get out of here.
Wow, really? Well, I don't want to get up course. Go ahead. My fault.
I think he's going to put up numbers both rushing and passing, and he is going. The addition of DJ Moore is huge for him. I really think that Justin Fields is going to have a breakout year, and since he's going to be on a losing team that is probably not going to make the playoffs, we are going to have to acknowledge Justin Fields, and I think this is how it's going to happen, and he's going to get the Offensive Player of the Year.
Whoever this is, you did see Lamar Jackson take, but hey, Justin Fields, not a bad show. I think Justin Fields is going to obviously be better. I wasn't going to go on a limb and say he was going Offensive Player of the Year. I feel like honestly, okay, I feel like if he had a better team around him, I would feel more comfortable. I don't think his team is great. Like team as like the defense as well, who's going to help him get that field position to kind of take over those short field positions. Like kind of similar to what Lamar Jackson had when he won his MVP.
Yeah.
right? So Lamar Jackson had that short field, right? And he just destroyed everybody with that, right? I don't think Justin Fields is set up that way to succeed like that. But I do think he's got a better year. I do think he's going to have a better year. But hey, it's ironic you have Lamar as your MVP because I got him as my offensive player of the year. Because I do think like I do think that he's going to have his best year as a quarterback. I mean, as a passer. I want to say he's going to throw for 4,000 yards. I really do. I think he's going to get that 4,000. I think he's going to sling it. I really do. I think he's going to sling that rock all over the field. I think he's going to have around 4,000 yards passing. I think his rushing numbers will go considerably down. I'm looking at like around like 600-700 yards. He's going to go off for like 130 at one point in the game. Like he's going to do that. But I think he's going to sit in that pocket and he's going to throw. I think he's going to prove to the world that he can be that guy. I think what I do fear that which may hurt my pick, I do think he's going to throw some interceptions, right? I think he's going to press a little bit. I do think he's going to have double-digit interceptions, but I do think he's going to. I don't know if he's going to hit 36. That's the most he's ever passed in his career. I mean, 36, the MVP year, he had 36 touchdowns, which led the league. I don't know if he hits that. That would be something. That would be incredible if he hit 36 touchdown passes. That, I mean, honestly, if he does that with the numbers I said, with the rushing numbers, we're talking about MVP. Like we're talking about MVP with the wins. I think they're going to get. But I think he's going to have a lot to prove this year, and I think he's going to really want to show it. So, and Lamar Jackson is one of those dudes where I feel like he's one of those dudes that that has a chip on his shoulder and really, really, really wants to shut a lot of people up. He's a baller. He's just a baller.
Yep.
Right? And I think that's what's going to happen. So we got some comments.
All black quarterbacks that is the last name that I wanted to see.
And run. I look like I don't know who this is. I can't wait to find out who this is.
That's Kevin Oliver.
Oh, okay. What did you say? This is him too?
Yep.
If there's any justice in the world, it should be Saquon Barkley. But narratively, I feel like they want to hype Daniel Jones and other stories. So I think it's more likely guys like Justin Jefferson to win. I'm not mad at that. Justin Jefferson was like, I almost chose Justin Jefferson again. I mean, didn't he win it last year?
Yeah, I thought about it, but I don't know,
I'm not mad at this. I'm not even mad at Saquon at the Saquon pick. It should be him, but you're right. I think they're gonna hype up stories like Daniel Jones and really kind of push Saquon to the backfield. The only way Saquon wins this if he rushes for around 1,600 yards and the Giants make the playoffs. But they're not gonna do that though. He's not gonna do that because
the Giants ain't going to make the playoffs.
Giants are make the playoffs, exactly.
And 15 touchdowns and 5 interceptions from Daniel Jones isn't going to cut it.
No. You know, I think Justin's going to go off this year as well. I think he's going to be a offensive player of the year candidate. I do. Justin Fields, that is. Yeah, I agree. I think most people. I think the consensus is that Justin Fields is going to go off, and now he needs OJ numbers minus the murders. No, I mean, look. No, but in all seriousness, yeah. He does. He definitely does. All right, let's go ahead and move on to defensive player of the year. Fong, who do you got as the NFL's defensive player of the year?
I'm going to go with Nick Bosa. I think Nick Bosa is going to have close to 14 to 15 sacks this year. I think San Francisco is going to be a dominating team. I think in the NFC, you've got the Eagles, you've got the 49ers, and in my opinion, you've got the Seahawks. And then it's a drop-off after that.
No, I agree. I agree. How about Dallas?
So, look, until I see Mike McCarthy do something, I can't buy Dallas. They got the talent, but Dallas has had the talent for the last decade and a half. And they haven't been able to do anything with it. So, yeah, I think there's that big drop-off there. But I think Nick Bosa is going to be the guy. I think, he got his money, got his contract. I think if he stays healthy, Bosa's going to come out. I think the 49ers are going to ball out this year. But this is also, I think, a year where it's do or die now for San Francisco, especially with the Trey Lance failure and how much they jumped off of that train. I also think Just putting it out there. I spoke about this on the game-winning drive with Drew Trammell, and I agreed with his assessment on this. Bill Belichick may be leaving New England at the end of the season, and don't be shocked if he's in San Francisco next season with a GM / coaching job because of this Trey Lance failure if San Francisco has a failed season this season.
Failed season as in what? Like, what does that look
Failed
like?
season like they don't make the playoffs.
Oh, okay. Well, I think they're gonna make the playoffs. So I don't. I mean, that'll be a hell of a story if Bill Belichick leaves New England. I don't see him leaving New England for anywhere else.
Listen, after everything that's been coming out with Robert Kraft and the way he's been talking and wording things.
Well, yeah. No, I mean, I think at some point, you know, I've always said relationships run its course. And they've been together for almost 20 years. So I get that. And they lost like it's almost like I almost look at it as like Tom Brady was like Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick's child.
Yeah.
Right. And the child leaves to go to college, and now the parents, all right, it's time to split up.
Yeah.
Like, the kid's going to college, now it's time to split up, right? So that's kind of how I look at it. So I get that. I get if they want to start fresh. But we'll talk about that a little later as the season goes on. But I like Nick Bosa. I just think I also believe I agree with you with one thing. Nick Bosa's one of the most dominant players in the league. He got paid today, like an hour ago.
Yep.
Out west, and you can hear 49er fans everywhere rejoicing while in the Bay Area where I'm at. And you know, honestly, the Niners, it does seem like a do or die year, not because of the Trey Lance situation, mainly because I just feel like, you know, they have just been on the cusp for so many years. At some point, people get annoyed and they get anxious.
Yeah.
I think this Niner defense, though, before I move to my pick, I think this Niner defense has a chance to be one of the greatest of all time if they can all stay on the field. That defense is unbelievably talented on paper and on the field. So Nick Bosa back is huge. So let me get to his comments real quick because we have him coming in. Watt, if he stays healthy, hey man, I didn't want to be called a homer, but Watt was like 1A for me, or 1B to the guy I'm about to show you. But TJ Watt, definitely has a chance to win it. Let's see. This guy said, I think it's Chase can give us a full 17. He's got an easy. Chase who? Oh, Chase Young. Goodness, that's a hot take. Okay, but hey,
Chase Young.
Yeah, and with all that's going on in Washington, him doing well.
No way.
At the top of the newsreel. I mean, who knows? I mean, his pick. It's his pick.
Possible.
It's possible. It's possible.
I like, in all honesty, my two guys were Myles Garrett or Nick Bosa, and I went with Nick Bosa.
Okay. So this guy said Bill acted like a passive aggressive spouse that's ready to end but don't want to ask for divorce. No, for real, that's how I look at it. That's how I look at it. Yeah. Honestly, that's what it's kind of seems like. And then I'm pissed. Bosa signs his contract with IA. Trust me, I was mad too. He could have waited a game. But let me get back to let me get to mine before I get to this next comment. I got my boy Sauce Gardner, man.
Ooh, I like that pick. I like that pick.
I think this is the year of Sauce. I really do. I think this guy is good. He's box office.
Would he be the first player in NFL history to win defensive rookie of the year and then come back and win defensive player of the year?
A trivia question. We can, if someone is watching, can look that up for us. Possibly. I don't know.
The only reason I was like, I can't pick him is
the
because
the only person I'm thinking of who did that is Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah,
that's my guess. That will be my guess. Lawrence Taylor won defensive rookie of the year, and then the next year probably won the MVP or he was player of the year. But Sauce Gardner, man, I just think this guy is ready to be the best corner in the game for the next maybe 6-7 years, and there's going to be no contest. I think this guy is box office. He is the real deal. Like, he is the best shutdown corner in football. I know people say PS2. I like PS2. I like Patrick Surtain, but Sauce Gardner is unbelievable. So he's my pick. And I think he would be the first defensive. Who was the last DB to win it? Who was the last DB? I gotta figure out. If someone, I gotta look that up. I don't know who the last DB would win it. The last defensive player was it Charles Woodson, 2009. I believe it was Charles. I think Charles Woodson was the last defensive back to win Defensive Player of the Year, if I'm not and or maybe Richard Sherman. We'll look into it a little bit. So got some comments here real quick. Back to the Defensive Player of the Year. Chase Young looked like a generational talent. He did the second coming in most cases, but he's always hurt. Look, if he can stay healthy, I agree. If he can stay healthy, I 100% agree that he can do it. I do. He's got to stay healthy all 17 games. Sauce does have to stay healthy. I don't think he got hurt last year.
I don't think he did either.
Unless this guy's talking about Chase Young, then maybe. Did Revis win Defensive Player of the Year? I don't think he's ever won it.
Negative.
No, I don't think he ever won Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think he obviously he's got a few All Pros, but I don't think he won Defensive Player of the Year. So
oh shit, man.
What?
You went back to Charles Woodson and you would have been right, but Stephon Gilmore won it in 2019.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow. I would never have guessed that. If you would have given me five guesses, I never would have guessed Stephon Gilmore.
I completely forgot about it.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. That's a trivia question. I never would have guessed that. But all right, let's go ahead and move on. All right, next Coach of the Year. Who is your NFL Coach of the Year prediction, Fog?
My Coach of the Year, and I hate saying, and 49er fans are going to hate me for saying this because I just picked Nick Bosa's Defensive Player of the Year. But my Coach of the Year is going to be Pete Carroll, and it's going to be Pete Carroll because I believe the Seattle Seahawks are going to win that division. And not only that, I think the Seahawks can make the NFC Championship game. And they're going to do it with Geno fucking Smith at quarterback. That is why Pete Carroll is my Coach of the Year.
Okay. I'm not mad at that. Pete Carroll. Has he ever won it before? Has he ever won it? I feel like he's always come close.
I don't know if he's ever won it.
I don't know if he's ever won it before. I think he's always come close, but he's never won it. So I kind of went out on a limb on this one. I wanted to kind of wanted to because I wanted someone different to win it. And I had a lot of guys in mind. I had guys like Mike LaFleur. I feel like if he can win without Rodgers, that would be a pretty good coaching, display of coaching. And then I thought about guys like I even thought about Mike McCarthy, him like kind of putting all his chips in the table and calling the plays. But you know what? I like this guy, and it's really all predicated on his quarterback staying healthy, right? And that's why I got Mike McDaniels. If I like him as a coach. I think he's a great offensive mind. I think the players like him as well. He's relatable. And I think he did a hell of a job last year with Tua when Tua was healthy. I think he did a hell of a job putting Tua in spots, making sure that he played the Tua's strength, that play action game, and Tua kind of dicing guys over the middle and the flats or dicing guys dicing that zone with corner routes or post or whatever it would be. Tua definitely grew under Mike McDaniel. So if Tua can stay upright, if it's all this jiu-jitsu stuff he was talking about, like if he can stay upright, I really feel like Mike McDaniels can win Coach of the Year. And also, I have the Dolphins winning the division. That's why.
I like that.
I have Miami win. I think Buffalo took a step back. I think the Jets make the playoffs, but will be a wild card team. I just don't think that team is gelled enough yet, but I think they will find it later in the season. And then I think New England and who's the other team? No, it's New England's to be last place. You know, so I think that's where we're going to go. All right, let me look up some the comments real quick. Somebody says somebody agrees with me, Fog. Pete Carroll. Someone likes Pete. I'm not mad at that.
Oliver.
I'm not mad at that. Bold predictions: Seahawks in the NFC Championship game. Man, that would be a hell of a story for Geno Smith. I mean, that would be one of the greatest comeback careers or turnaround careers ever. I can't even think of another career that turned around like that with Geno.
Listen, that Seahawks defense. Look, you know where I stand. Defense still wins championships at the end of the day. And that Seahawks defense is going to be something to be reckoned with.
Yeah, it looks good. No, it looks. It's not the Legion of Boom, but it looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do. I knew Taylor won it in both seasons. Going back to the Defensive Player of the Year conversation, I knew Taylor won it in both seasons, and he won it again in '82. So I guess he didn't win it back to back. He didn't win it again. So I guess I don't know. Maybe it's never been done. Maybe no one's won the defensive rookie of the year and then the defensive player of the year and back to back. Taylor was my best guess. Taylor my best. Robert Saleh was definitely someone I did think about winning coach of the year. If he can get this team to 11, 12 wins, even though he has, I don't want to say he has a boost with Aaron Rodgers, but at the same time, this is like the Jets are like the Colorado of the NFL. like everyone's got all these new players coming in, they got to gel. If Robert Saleh can kind of handle all that, hey man, I'll be impressed. So Taylor did do it. All right, thank you very much. Taylor did it. Taylor did do it. All right, so Taylor was the last player to win Defensive Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year.
That's insanity.
No, I mean, Lawrence Taylor was a freaking animal.
No, but I'm talking that we haven't seen that since.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
For if Sauce pulls that off, oh my God.
Lions make it. Look, Dan Campbell was. I had him, but I'm just not a huge fan. I think this Lions hype train. I think by October, November, those wheels are coming off, and Lions are making playoffs. I don't believe in it. I personally don't believe in it. So I don't believe in it at all. All right, moving on to one of my favorite awards, Offensive Rookie of the Year. And I don't know why Pete Carroll didn't load, but go ahead, Bob. Who's your Offensive Rookie of the Year?
I looked long and hard.
I did too.
Figure out, because I didn't want to go with who's going to be the consensus Offensive Rookie of the Year. But it's got to be Bijan Robinson. I'll tell you what, too. The Atlanta Falcons, I think, can win that division, but it's going to be predicated on what Desmond Ridder can do. But that offensive line, it's a top 5 run blocking offensive line. They've got the weapons on the offensive side of the ball. I don't feel they needed a running back.
They didn't.
You went out and drafted him. Okay, fine. There's nothing stopping Bijan Robinson except Bijan Robinson getting hurt from winning the Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, it was hard not to pick him, but I wanted to be different. But he's probably going to win it because he's going to get the most touches. He's going to be on a bad team. So he's going to be featured a lot. So they don't have a quarterback. They don't have a quarterback to take away the attention from him. He's gonna make hella plays. He's gonna look like Reggie Bush out there. He's gonna be exciting. So he has number 7, which I don't know, that which is pretty cool because Vic and they're making that whole stadium electric. So yeah, he's probably gonna win it. But I wanted to for a sake of argument, I think this young man is gonna win it. I think Bryce Young. Look, man. Look, he's gonna get destroyed. He's gonna get destroyed. I think this team could shock a lot of people. And look, here's how Bryce Young can win it. He doesn't got to get his team to the playoffs. He just has to look competitive, trying to do it. Like if they win 6-7 games, right?
That's not impossible. I think Carolina.
That division?
I think Carolina. I think the NFC South is being completely overlooked with Atlanta, Carolina, and everyone's just rolling with the Saints. Atlanta and Carolina are going to make things competitive.
They're going to make things very competitive. Tampa Bay is going to be the worst team out of the division, right? They're going to be the worst team out of the division. So I think Bryce Young has a shot. I think he has a shot. I think he's going to be really good in the future. I think he's going to be really good. I want to see how he handles the pressure. He just seems so calm back there. I watched him over the preseason a little bit, and when he drops back, it's almost like he's playing against air. That's how calm he looks. He's not unaware of what's around him. He doesn't have bad pocket presence. He just looks calm, right? And that's what I love about. That's always what I love about Bryce Young. And honestly, look, Bryce Young is not. He's used to carrying teams. I'm telling you right now. I'll say this. I'll say it again. Bama fans don't like it. He carried Bama for 2 years, especially last year. Without Bryce Young, Bama loses 6 games last year. I don't care what anybody says. So he's used to this. So yeah, I think it's
that was a bad picture of him though, because you talk about how calm and he's throwing that fucking ball with his eyes closed. B. He's like, I hope it gets to the target.
I don't know who he's throwing to. Adam Thielen?
He don't know who he's throwing to either.
I don't know who he's throwing to. But yeah, they're gonna be disrespecting Bryce Young. Hey, he's gonna get up though. He's gonna get up. He's gonna get up. Someone give him a miniature mic. I think Stroud will be better than Bryce. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. I mean, it's definitely a possibility. It's like flipping a coin with those two, right? You know, I do think Stroud is definitely in the better situation. Like Stroud's gonna have a defense. I think Stroud's in the better. He's in the better situation. I think he has the better team.
I'm actually impressed with what Houston did in the offseason and in the draft.
Yeah, in the draft, they had one of the better drafts.
Mm-hmm.
They had one of the better drafts. All right, moving on to the other one, defensive rookie of the year.
Now, this is where I said, you know what? Let me reach. Because there's probably, in all honesty, there's probably 4 or 5 guys that I would put ahead of this guy. You know, so I'm like, do I do it? Do I do it? Yeah, F it. I'll do it. I'm going with Luke Van Ness for the Green Bay Packers. I think, I think the Packers are going to be better than what people think.
I do too.
So with that being said, again, the NFC is going to be competitive outside of 3 teams, in my opinion.
Crazy.
And it's going to be a shit show. It's going to be a dog fight, and I think you're going to see a lot of teams with wins between 6 and 8 in the NFC. Green Bay is going to be one of them, in my opinion, and I think Luke Van Ness he's going to go under the radar, and I think this is a guy who, in his first season, he looked good in camp. He looked good in college. Mm-hmm. I honestly think if he gets 12 or 13 sacks, he put him in the top. Yeah, I think he could be that. I think he could catch people off guard in that way, and shock people. Kind of like how Javon Curse did when he came out.
The freak.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a name. that's a legendary name. But I mean, I'm not mad at the pick. I mean, Luke Van Ness. I've always said he looks like a Packer. I mean, he looks like he belongs in that uniform. It's just the way he looks coming out of Iowa. But yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at this either. I think the Packers are going to shock some people too. I do. I don't think they're going to be as bad as people think they're going to be. I just think they look bad because Aaron Rodgers didn't give a shit last year. I just really feel like I almost want to say Aaron Rodgers halfway through the season, I feel like he quit on his team. But when he realized that, oh shit, we have a chance, then he's starting to turn it up. That's what I saw at least. But yeah, I think the Packers are going to be pretty good this year, and I'm not mad at this at all. This is a good pick. As much as you liked, is it Dexter Witherspoon?
Devin Witherspoon from Seattle.
As much as you liked him in the draft, I'm surprised you didn't choose him.
Bro, I was right there. He's one of the guys that if you told me right now, give me 5 guys that you would pick, Devin Witherspoon and Jalen Carter are 2 guys that I've got over this guy immediately, right off the top.
Yeah, Jalen Carter was a guy I was gonna pick, and somebody said the defensive rookie of the year is playing for the Eagles. I don't know which one, but he's an Eagle. So yeah, I mean, that's one of those like low hanging fruit bets. So like if you bet that, you're not gonna win a lot of money because it probably is. But someone said Jack Campbell. I like that. I do like that. I like that. I do like Jack Campbell. My guy, I'm going with who I thought was the best football player in this draft, and that's Will Anderson. I think Will Anderson under a guy like DeMeco Ryans, like what better mentor can you have as when you're head coach, one of the better linebackers for that franchise, right? For the longest time. And people don't realize DeMeco Ryan went where? What college did he go to? With Alabama. We didn't realize that. With Alabama. This is a match made in heaven right there. So I think Will Anderson was the best football player in this draft. I think the Texans had a hell of a draft, like a crazy draft when they got Bryce Young for the quarterback, and then they had pretty much the quarterback of their defense with Will Anderson, right? So I think it's gonna be a close race. I think the defensive player of the year is gonna be close to the offensive player of the defensive rookie of the year is gonna be close to the offensive rookie of the year. I think Bijan is probably gonna run away with it, unless there was a guy. I didn't say this last segment. Unless I think Jahmyr Gibbs can shock people this year for the Lions. I do. Even though you and I both thought that was a major reach.
Yeah,
they reached out so far to get him. But I do think he's gonna have an impact on the Lions. I don't know how big of an impact, but I do think he's gonna have an impact. So yeah, I got Will Anderson as my.
And listen, like I said, Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, Devin Witherspoon, I'd put them all over Luke Van Ness. I tell you what, don't sleep on Christian Gonzalez or Tyree Wilson either.
No, I almost Tyree Wilson was one I almost chose. I almost chose him as well. I did. I was close. But I was like, no, the connection with Will Anderson and DeMeco Ryan, same college, same position. Now he's head coach. Like, I just can't see Will Anderson like.
Oh no! Like again, Will Anderson is kind of like, what's his name, Bijan Robinson. I would, if you're telling me bet the odds, I'm betting he's going to win it. I tell you what, I would put a little bit of money on Luke Van Ness because the payout would be lovely on the guy who's probably 5th or 6th in the running for, according to Vegas, as defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah. Well, I'm not mad at that. All right. Last one. We got comeback player of the year. Who you got for that?
I mean, I don't think it matters who we would pick. I think Damar Hamlin is going to get it. We're talking about a guy who had a heart attack and died on the fucking football field, and now he's back playing again. Yes, it doesn't matter at this point what anyone else has gone through. Outside of Russell Wilson winning the NFL MVP, that might be the only person that could beat Damar Hamlin at comeback player of the year. And that's that the Broncos would have to have an undefeated season.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where like Damar Hamlin, he could play one play all year and he'd probably still win it because of what he went through in that game last year against the Bengals. So, I mean, I get it. I understand it. But you know what? Again, I went a different route because I think people really forgot about this dude. He's been out for a whole year. And I think Calvin Ridley could have a shot because he was out of football a whole year. And with everything coming out of camp, this dude looks ready. I think people forgot how good Calvin Ridley was in Atlanta with Julio Jones over there opposite of him. Like, I think people forgot about Calvin Ridley. And I think with Trevor Lawrence and those weapons around him, man, I really feel like Calvin Ridley has a chance. I mean, he would have to go off. And
I wouldn't be shocked. I'm telling. I think Jacksonville's winning that division. I don't think it's close, man.
No, they're running away with it. I think they're running away with it as well. I think Trey Lance, don't throw stuff at me. Anything's possible. Anything's possible, man. Anything's possible. Something goes. I mean, like that. That's a whole nother segment with that whole Dallas and Dak thing and Trey Lance, but that's a whole nother segment. But yeah, I mean. But yeah, I think I do think it's gonna be Damar Hamlin. He's probably gonna run away with it. Especially if he gets one interception, it's over. Like he gets one pick, he's gonna win it. I mean, the fact that he's on the field.
Don't let it be a pick six.
Oh God.
He might win defensive player of the year for that.
Yeah, no, I mean talk about scripted, right? Talk about scripted. If he does that against I think don't they play the Jets?
Yeah.
Yeah. So talk about scripted if he does that, right?
Picks all Rodgers.
Let's go. Let's move on real quick. So we're gonna do a little segment. We're college football guys, right? We're gonna do a little segment called 3 and Out, and we're gonna be talking about the 3 biggest stories each week of the college football weekend, right? And I used to do this a lot. I used to write about this, but now I do the videos about it now. And just the three biggest stories we chose. We're gonna pick out. I kind of chose these, but Fog, I want you to just go along with me with this. So it's pretty much going to talk about the three biggest stories of college football week 1, and we're going to go ahead and set that stage, right? Because it was a wild week of college. It was a wild week of college football, and I think we already know what the biggest story was, right? I think we already know, and I thought I told you, I'm going to the Colorado game, right? So, but we already know what the biggest story was, right? It was Coach Prime getting his first victory as the Colorado head coach over the defending, against the national championship runner-up TCU Horned Frogs, beating them 45-42. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, one of the better games I've ever seen. It was one of the best games I have. And that's not even hyperbole to me. Fog, what was your take on that game?
That was entertaining as hell. But like I said, I love the game. That's what you watch college football for games like that.
Yeah,
it was a fantastic game. I just think that there's a lot of overhype going on because at the end of the day, Colorado still gave up 42 points.
Yeah,
to a TCU team that, in my opinion, I had no idea they were ranked 18th or 17th. I was like, what? How did they get ranked when they lost 90% of their offense?
Yeah. You talking about TCU?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I'll be honest.
Listen, I bet Colorado getting 20. I'm like, fuck that. There's no way.
I'll be honest. I did not know. I don't know why TCU was right. I mean, they were in the national title game last year. You're not gonna just kick out the team that was in the national. I don't care how much they lost by. They're in the national championship last year.
Yeah, but they lost a lot of personnel. B.
They did. I mean, they did. Which is why I think you and I agree. We hate preseason polls.
Yeah,
they're stupid. Like, I mean, I don't understand why they don't just have the preseason polls. I don't understand why they don't have the preseason polls just come out, in like October or when the playoffs come out or when the playoff rankings come out. I'm not really sure. All right. All I need them to do is look, honestly, I am confident. I believe that game. I believe that game is September 30th. And I'm telling you right now, if I can get tickets to that game, USC Colorado, if Colorado remains undefeated, and USC's undefeated, that Caleb versus Shador, Lincoln Riley versus Dion, that shit, bro, that is going to be one of the most hype games of most probably all time. Of the regular season.
That would
that game. That would tell me that game could determine the Pac-12, right? And nobody saw that coming. But look, man, I won't be long on this. I just love that Dion proved all his doubters wrong. Nobody had him winning, even though even though we all knew that TCU didn't have a lot of guys coming back, nobody had Deion Sanders winning this. Nobody had the Colorado winning this game. Nobody did. And if they lose this game, even if the score was flipped, people would have gave Dion hell, right? They would have still gave him hell. So I mean, I was just so ecstatic for Dion. It was really, really an awesome thing to see. So I'm looking forward to going to the game this weekend in Boulder against Nebraska. Nebraska's gonna be pissed off. They have a way better defense than TCU. So I'm really interested to see what this team, Colorado's gonna look like against that Nebraska defense. But we'll definitely see what happens. But the name on the front of the jersey matters. Beating TCU, I'm about to say beating TCU at any point matters, and I agree with that.
Yeah,
I mean that matters. Because nobody saw Colorado was 1-11 last year, and the only team they beat was I think South Dakota State, literally, and they won by 3 points. So so talk about a whole cultural change and just turnaround of a program. Nothing can take away this win from Deion Sanders.
Well, listen, Colorado's going to be dangerous going forward because this is a team that has adopted the personality of the coach.
Yeah.
And he's coaching with a chip on his shoulder. These players are playing with a chip on their shoulder.
It's crazy. All right, so next topic is kind of combined. I want to ask you real quick. Because I'm a Florida State fan. I am, right? What was the bigger surprise to you? The bigger surprise, right? How Florida State looked against LSU, or how bad Clemson looked against Duke?
You know what? I'm not surprised that Florida State looked as good as they did against LSU, especially in that second. I think Florida State has probably, no, not probably, has the best defense out of any team in the ACC. Period, hands down. And I think the coaching adjustments made
That's Mike Norvell.
in that second half, I was like, wow, that was real. There was coaching, but the players, but this is a very talented Florida State team. I was more shocked, and I was watching the game. I was at my cousin's house, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, yo, Duke's really trying to win this game. And he made a joke, Blue Bloods, baby, Blue Bloods. And I'm watching it. I left his house, I got back home, I turned on TV, and I'm like, oh, Duke's gonna fuck around and win this game. What happened to Clemson? Now, I don't think Clemson should have been ranked where they were at. I think top 10 was a little bit of a reach because I don't think Clemson looked that great last year.
They didn't.
So I'm like, I don't know where we're getting this ninth ranking from, but okay. And then the way Duke listen, I can't stand Dabo Swinney. So anytime he loses, I am thrilled. So watching Duke, I was like, yo, go Dukies. But I was definitely shocked that Clemson came. They laid an egg, man. You put up 7 points against fucking Duke. Really?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I agree. I was more surprised at how well. Actually, I don't agree. I think we're actually opposite of this. I was surprised at how well Florida State came out and played because I wasn't sure of the hype of Florida State. I wasn't sure, and people were trying to tell me this team is good. Keon Cole is a monster. He's from Michigan State. You know, to answer this question. People don't really. I think they said it on the broadcast, but I knew this before. Florida State was always his first school, but because the team was in such disarray, like for the last 3 or 4 years, he didn't want to go there because there was uncertainty, right? So once Florida State stabilized, right, he came back. That's pretty much what happened with Keon. He was always supposed to be a Seminole, right?
Yeah.
Florida State was like the second team on his list that he wanted to go, but he wasn't sure. But I was so surprised how physical Florida State was because one of the things that Florida State showed the last 2 or 3 years was how soft they were. And it was unbelievable how soft we were. I can't explain to people how bad and soft we were inside on the edge perimeter. It was honestly, I think I told Kyle Pagel this. I literally could not watch Florida State games for like 2 years. It was so bad. I could not watch them. And when this team came out on Saturday, man, and just imposed their will, but that's the Florida State team I grew up to love, right? That's the team I grew up loving. So as for Clemson, this is not shocking because everybody knows that Dabo Swinney does not like the transfer portal. He does not dabble into it for whatever reason. And this is the result. And I don't understand why he doesn't do it. I mean, it's from his own stupid pride. But he's gonna soon find out this is how you maintain dominance. It's transfer portal. It can't be just with freshmen, these 5-star freshmen who come in. It's gonna be the transfer portal.
Yep.
You know, that's just what it is. And he does not do that. And his demise is gonna be that. And it's ironically that they played Duke because at one point Mike Krzyzewski hated one and done. He didn't want to do it. But then he soon realized, oh shit, okay, I got to do something to keep up with the Joneses. Let me go get Zion Williamson. So it's Dabo. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not. We're neither one of us like Dabo at all. Yeah. So, you know, I think that I think it's pretty not surprising at all that Clemson looked the way they look. They're gonna come back. They're gonna be fine. You know, they're going to win their 8-9 games, but until they dabble into that transfer portal, they're going to suck. And for Clemson standards. All right, got some comments. Brian Kelly has never shown the ability to get the elite W. He's not built for that. His pronouns are he because he will never be him. Had the best pressure for playing in space. Yeah. I mean, Brian Kelly. I'll be the first to admit this. Here's what I'll admit. I still feel like Brian Kelly was the right hire and good hire for LSU. I do feel I'm going to give him. I'm not going to kill him yet. I still think LSU is still a pretty good team. We'll see how they respond to this in the next coming weeks. But yeah, it was a terrible loss from their end. LSU's got to stop chasing names. They need a certain personality to bring the most out of the team and community. Not mad at that. Dabo lived on pride and principle. Yep, he's gonna happily die on that hill. Like he's going to happily. Doesn't develop his players. He really doesn't. And Clemson doesn't get a lot of overhype. But yeah, he's gonna Dabo's gonna die. I love that. Dabo's gonna die on this hill. He will die on that hill. He will not. I think his ego's too big to realize he needs to do the change. Unlike Krzyzewski.
Yeah.
Right. His ego's too damn big. So, all right, moving forward to the last topic. I like to leave this topic for players, right? I like to talk a little bit of Heisman. I know it's too early, but I wanted to bring this up right here. Shedeur, his current Heisman odds right now is plus 4,000, right? So he is definitely a favorite. And then also, his teammate is now Travis Hunter, who I think, who I think is the best player in college football. Like, I don't care if you can call me, a knee-jerk reaction. I don't care what anybody says. He's been doing this since like Jackson State, and people didn't even realize it because he was at Jackson State. Yo, that was like I don't want to jump into hyperbole fog, but that was one of the greatest two-way performances I've ever since Charles Woodson,
bro,
and Champ Bailey. Like, dude, he is a dog. I
tell you what, if he's able to just continue,
the running back's good too.
Continue that the rest of the season. How do you not give it to him?
I don't know. I don't think he's gonna do the. I mean, he probably could though. Like if he can hold up, I don't know why he couldn't. Right? He played so many snaps though. He played a lot of snaps.
Yeah, he did.
Man, like Dion says he's a dog. I love the fact that Dion put D on his jersey. He instead of like captain, D means dog. Yeah. Which that's just a Dion thing, which is so incredible. But yeah, like, man, that it's gonna be amazing. Let's not forget about Caleb Williams, who's going off, who I think has a good chance to win back-to-back Heismans because his numbers have been astronomical as well. His numbers.
What about your boy Jordan Travis?
He has a chance, but it's gonna be one of those things where I don't think he's gonna put up the numbers. He's gonna be a part of the equation to why Florida State is so great, but he's not gonna be like the reason. I think it's gonna be a collective thing. He's not gonna separate himself like Jameis Winston did a few years ago. Like we all knew why Jameis was the best quarterback. I think there's just too many guys this year, man. Like Shedeur, like Travis, Caleb Williams. Some guys are going to emerge. I'm not mad at Travis, but I don't know if he's going to Drake May to be on the watch list, who I like a lot, who I like Drake May a lot as well. So we'll see. This guy says he'll be fine. He ain't got no extra weight on his bones. He won't get tired. He's a skinny dude. He's small. He's a small dude, man. He's good. He's fun to watch. He's definitely fun to watch, man. So I'm looking forward to it. Real quick, Fog, who you got tomorrow? Lions, Chiefs.
I can't go against the Chiefs. I think it'll be a fun game. I think the Lions are going to make a game out of it.
Yeah.
But again, It's Patrick Mahomes. It's Andy Reid. I can't go against the Chiefs, especially
I'm
first
not.
game of the season.
First game of the season, banner going up, Thursday night football. No Kelsey though. No Travis Kelsey. Let's see who Mahomes' security blanket is gonna be. Like I'm actually hoping Kelsey doesn't play because I really want to see how Mahomes reacts to this. I think this is gonna be really fun. But we're happy football is
With
back.
no receivers.
Right. I don't even know who they're like. Cause Juju's gone, right?
Yep,
I don't even know who's
Juju's
throwing
gone.
to. I have no clue who's throwing to. Like I have no idea who's number one receiver. Who's number one receiver for the Chiefs? Is it Sky Moore? No.
It might be.
Jeez. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it might be Sky Moore after Travis Kelsey.
This is why Mahomes, if he does what he does, if Mahomes,
Kadarius Toney?
oh God, if it's him, and like if
Who
it's
else do
him,
they?
I don't think they have anybody else. That's what I mean. I think they picked up someone like a Michael Robinson.
They got Valdez Scantlin from Green Bay.
Oh yeah, that's who. Yeah. I knew they got somebody from somewhere.
Rashee Rice, the speedster from SMU.
Hey man, let's.
He has got some.
This man, look, it could be one of two things. It could be sheer arrogance and ignorance of the Chiefs to put this around Mahomes because they feel like he can do anything, or they know something we don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but we're gonna find out tomorrow because that receiving core is garbage right now. I can't even. I don't know. I'm not say garbage. We don't know yet. No name, I guess.
It's an unknown commodity.
It's unknown commodity right now. Yeah, it's unknown, but football season is back every weekend until February. Something we've been waiting for a long time. Definitely want to thank you guys for sticking around for the last hour for our first show of the season. We'll be back next Wednesday to talk about the week one, talk about college football. I'll talk about my time in Colorado and Boulder, that experience.
Yeah, you gotta tell me about that. I want to get out to Colorado.
Yeah, nah, man, it's gonna be wild out there. It's going to be a zoo. But yeah, we want to thank you guys so much for joining us. Everybody who chimed in, Kevin Oliver, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you sticking around the whole time, man. Jason Brown, I think Trisha was on here. I think Brian Roberts is on here. I really appreciate you guys. We really appreciate you guys for sticking around with us. We're definitely back next Wednesday. I'll have my college football review on Sunday. And Fog, any last words for anybody, for our viewers?
Football is back. That's it. That's all. No last words. It's just it's the beginning.
It's just the beginning.
This is not the last words to the segment. This is the opening to segments to come.
Absolutely. We wish you guys have a great rest of your weeks, and we'll see you guys next week.